Okay, let's welcome Cassie.
Let me share my screen real quick. Oh, what's this one? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so hey guys, welcome to our first educational seminar. Thank you for joining, and we're so excited to welcome you guys and kick off the start of this amazing year of financial education 365. So, my name is Casey. I am currently a junior at Jersey Village High School, in Texas, and I am planning to go in the finance major in the future. And yeah. So, for today's focus, we are going to explore these three main topics: the time value of money, Rule of 72, and 200 years of finance, which I will be briefly going over later. So, some stuff about us. Financial Education 365 is a student-led, parent-guided nonprofit organization, and our mission is to empower youth through real-life skills and meaningful experiences. And so basically, we help and recruit middle and high school students to help build financial literacy among our peers through informational seminars like these. And through this experience, we hope to help develop leadership and teamwork skills within high school students and also gain social awareness to prepare for the future in a financial context. So these are some of the stuff we do. So we have youth programs, we offer career exploration and leadership and volunteering. So some of the youth programs we offer is that basically teaching basic financial concepts like this seminar itself, what we are having today. And through this, we hope to help develop strong money management habits early on in life. So um, kids don't have to like experience um, obstacles, as much obstacles in the future and step into something they don't even know about as an adult, like taxes, investments, and all of that stuff, which also we will be going over in today's seminar and in the future. So we also offer career exploration. So we invite guest speakers and give basically a TED Talk type of speech from industry professionals, there are multiple industries that we go into, but mostly we do business and finance as this is what the club is mostly about, and basically dipping our toes into what kind of career is suitable and what you do in each job and industry type. So basically giving you students a clearer view of their future careers and what kind of majors they want to be in. And we also offer leadership and volunteering opportunities. So by you can join our team like marketing, HR, finance, event planning, leading seminars like these. There are a lot of other like um, what is the word? There are also other like groups that you can join and help lead and then be a part of this. And then through this, we also offer volunteer service hours and recommendation letters, which it would look really good on your college applications. And so here are some reasons why you should join in Financial Education 365. First, you learn and how to manage, save, invest money. You also explore your careers and college prep tips. You get volunteer service hours and letters of recommendation. And lastly, you also build confidence through leadership projects like these, and then build your collaboration and communication skills. So for a session breakdown, well, what we are going over in these three today's seminar is Time Value of Money, which will be presented by Wimbo, Rule of 72, which will be presented by Cynthia, and then 200 Years of Finance presented by Chloe. And so time value of money is basically going to go over inflation and investments in relation with time, the relationship between money and time, and then Rule of 72, which is giving you fast, efficient ways to calculate compound interest over time, and then 200 Years of Finance, which is going to go over how the stock market and just markets overall have evolved over time and comparing the different types of stock and the different types of markets to give you a better understanding of that field. And so my last slide. So that's a quick look at what this organization is about, and what are we doing today. So, and please welcome Wimbo, who is going to be a high school senior this year in Richard King High School in Texas, and he will be presenting time value of money for us today. Let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you, guys.
Hey, give me 1 second. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Is it able to see?
Yes.
Okay. So hello everybody. Today I'm going to introduce a concept called the time value of money to you guys. Go straight to the point. What does the time value of money means? It's basically refers to the money today is more valuable than tomorrow. And here's a simple reason. Money we have now can be put to work and grows through investment, but money we will receive later isn't available yet, so we lose the chance to earn returns during that waiting time. At this time, some of you guys may said, well, why I need to invest? I can't just leave the money under my bed and use it when I need to use it? Well, of course that's work, but I would just say investment will be a better option for you. And here's the reason why. First, actually the truth is you have to invest because the macroeconomy is always pushing us to invest. The most common reason is first, inflation, and second, investment returns, and third, risk and uncertainty. Okay, let me introduce what are these factors are. First, inflation, it basically means a general increase in price and decrease in the purchasing value of money. We basically mean is the price of things around you is become higher and higher, and the money of the currencies we use is decreasing over time. Such as you need to purchase a Coca-Cola in 2025 with $3, but after several years, because the exist of inflation, you have to spend about like $5 after several years. And the reason why inflation encourage us to invest is because if you don't do anything, like as I said, if you just leave it under your bed, it still will decreasing its value, or in other words, depreciating over time. So rather than just leave it over there and make it value less and less, why don't you just put in investment and make it profit for you? For investment returns, is basically is a measure of profitability of an investment expressed as a percentage of the initial amount invested. This is just a unit for measurement, but I want to tell you guys is investment, it is able to bring profit to you. During an inflation period, everybody's money is decreasing. If you do investment, you can against the effects that's bring by inflation and have a better life and less financial burden than others. And for the risk and uncertainty, is basically about bad things could happen in the future, or you can't be sure what will happen. Just like the inflation, you can't predict when when exactly will the inflation coming and how much our currencies will depreciating. And also, along with risk, there are also chance. And we always said the higher risk we have, the higher chance we have to make profit for ourselves. So it's actually same thing to the inflation. Rather than leave your money there to let it depreciating, why don't you just take a bet, put in the investment? Okay, we just finished introduce about those factors. Let's make an assumption and teach you guys why we should start to invest right now. Let's say there's long time ago there were two gentles, and their name are Mr. A and Mr. B. They have they have same age and they have their own financial investment plan. For Mr. A, he he is he started investing at 18 years old and stopped contribute after 5 years. And his monthly contribution is $500 a month, which means $6,000 per year, with assume a annual interest rate with 5%. Let's see if, based on this condition, what will happen along with time. As you see, here's a chart for you guys to see. Here's how much he contribution for the first 5 years, and also here's how much he gets after that 5 years, the first year after 5 years actually. And when he is 39 years old, around 40, he gets about $79,000 or roughly $80,000 eventually. And Mr. B, he said he's able to catch up Mr. A, which means he is able to chase Mr. A even he waits for about 11 years. And then after Mr. A have invested about 11 years, he start investment based on his plan. And he had the same condition with Mr. A, contribute $500 monthly and 5% of annual interest. And let's see what will happen. Since he chose not to invest for first 11 years, there won't be anything in his amount. And when he is 29, he started investing for $6,000 per year. And he gets about 90,000 eventually at 39 years old. Seems like he has higher amounts than Mr. A. But let's make a calculation right here. Mr. A, he has invested for $6,000 per year and keep that for 5 years, and eventually he spent for about 30,000, and the total assets when he at 39 years old, he gets 80,000, and for Mr. B, he invests for 10 years and $6,000 per year, and he eventually spent 60,000, and which is two times of the money that Mr. A invested, and his total asset at age 39 is 90,000, which is only about like 10,000 more than Mr. A, but he spent 2 times of the money that Mr. A do. No matter you analyze from which direction, Mr. A's methodology is always better than Mr. B. And the only key to achieve Mr. A's achievement is he begins investing 10 years earlier than Mr. B. He was able to invest less money, yet earn greater returns. This example highlights the power of starting early and demonstrates the remarkable value of putting today's money to work. And at this time, I believe you guys have an explicit identification about what is the time value of money. And right now, let's move the stage to Miss Cynthia. She is a current high school student from Louisiana, and she has 2 years of accounting courses experiment, and also she is preparing she's preparing the major in finance and accounting in college, and she will present the time value of 72 for you guys.
Hey guys, I'm Cynthia and I'll be presenting Rule 72. Can you guys see my screen? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. So basically what Rule 72 is an efficient method of calculation. And basically it is defined by two specific formulas. One of the main ones is doubling time of an investment at a given annual rate of return, which also can be known as interest rate. 72 over the interest rate will give you the doubling time. Like for example, 72 over a 6% interest rate of money value of any kind in the saving will take 12 years to double, and at an annual interest rate of 8%, it will take 9 years. This shows the large impacts of small differences in numbers and interest rate. And also the other formula is 72 over years to double, which gives you the annual interest rate. And in Rule 72, we use compounded interest, which differentiates from simple interest because it accounts for the initial value plus the interest already earned from the initial value over time. And if you look at the right-hand side, you'll see the enlarging differences of the two over time because of the small interest rates that keep going adding up. So here are some graphs that have a more clear representation of the effect of Rule 72 and compounding interest over time. Like for example, if there is an annual interest rate of 4% and everybody is starting at $10,000, then it'll take the person investing at 4% more than 40 years to quadruplize their money. And if they're investing at 12% returns per year, then it'll take only 1/3 of that time for it to quadruplize. And by the time they are 65, it'll grow to 640,000, which is 16 times. So out of all numbers in the world, why 72? The answer is because efficiency. There are actually two other main rules that can be used in finance. Rule of 69.3, it is more accurate because of the decimal and because it is less divisible. It is harder to do the calculations. And also there's Rule 63. It is easier to divide, but it's also less accurate than the results of Rule 72. So overall, Rule 72, it has the highest accuracy, but it is also more convenient because you can do the math inside your mind. Here are some real-world applications of Rule 72. Mainly, it estimates the growth rate of money, which helps personal finances and corporate finances make great plans and more suitable plans for the future and make better financial objectives over time. So for example, a long-term personal goal will probably be retirement, and knowing how fast your money can grow and how much you can save each time, it helps you make a better and more feasible plan for that. A short-term goal can be maybe a vacation this summer, and for corporates, it can mostly be new projects and when to start it, and if it is realistic to start at a certain time. But that is the more positive side of the rule. The other way around, it could also calculate consequences of unpaid debt at specific interest rates because money cannot only grow positively upwards, but it can also grow negatively if there's a lot of unpaid debts. So before we go into the other concept, which is banking, I want to talk about inflation. This will be talked about throughout our seminar today. The basic definition of inflation is the growth in price of goods and services, and that causes a depreciation in the value of money. like Wimbo just said, and because the services and goods are more expensive, you can buy less of it with each dollar. Here's a visual representation with a cup of coffee over time. In 2000, a cup of coffee is $1, and by 2024, it's $3.08, meaning that in 2024, the same dollar can only buy less than a third of a cup of the same coffee. And because the exchange rate of money goes down, the value of the money goes down. And that is what we mean by purchasing power decrease or increase of money. So in order to counter this inflation rate over time, that is why banks set interest on loans, because they want to make sure that they don't lose money over time. If they still ask for the same return of the same money over time, for example, $10,000 10 years ago is not worth the same by this point. It decreases because of inflation. Even though it cannot be physically seen, the value of the money actually decreases. And they set the interest based on expected inflation. And that shows us the concept of nominal versus real interest rate. Basically, nominal interest rate is what you see the bank sets. For example, a 10% annual interest rate per year. That is the nominal interest rate. And then real interest rate accounts for inflation afterwards. So nominal minus inflation rate will give you the real interest rate. Say that the inflation is 5% per year, then 10 minus 5% will equal 5% real interest rate, and 5% is charged more than the original value of the money that you loaned. So here's another external factor of the returns of money. Inflation shows the value of money that is decreased, and then taxes directly affects the amount that you receive. So there are three main types of taxes. Capital gains tax is profit made from sales of asset. Assets are items or properties owned by somebody that has value to it. There are short-term capital gains and also long-term capital gains. Short-term capital gains are from sales of asset that is beholden for 1 year or below, and the tax rate is charged based on income. And also the long-term capital gains is more than 1 year, and then it is also calculated on a different scale, but also on income taxes. Dividends are profits of a company paid to shareholders, and those shareholders usually have buy stocks, and withhold them. And profits are also based on income of the taxes. And interest income taxes are interests earned from saving accounts, bonds, or certificates. Usually they come at like a national level, and some can also go to state or local levels based on where you live and the policies there. And that is a basic dive through of Rule 72. So next off, Chloe will introduce the marketing patterns over the past 200 years. She is a senior at Myers Park High School, and she's from North Carolina. She's interested in finance and plans to major in nursing in college.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So this is the 200 years of market. So this is kind of like an overview, just so you guys can be mentally prepared for like what I'm going to be covering. So first, I'm going to be defining like everything that you would need to know. And some of the definitions have been covered in the other presentations, but it will just be going over it again. And then I'll be going over I'll be like trend analysis. So like kind of what is going on like in the market trends, um, how you like can invest, how people react to these investments in like downturns and upturns, which we'll go through in the definitions, and you can do to protect yourself against that. So firstly, our definitions. So what is inflation? So inflation is basically an ongoing increase, as you guys have heard, of prices and goods over time. And it's measured by like the general increase, not just everyday item increase. And this is calculated by cat like categorical prices being combined by a price index, like all the prices of like cars, for example, and comparing them to other time frames. And so in the pandemic, when US inflation averages reached like a high, the highest it's been since the 1840s, everyday items became more expensive. So like in like a smaller tense, like 1 pound of or a gallon of milk was $2.91 before the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, it increased by like 50 cents to $3.47. But then in a bigger term, a new car being sold in 2019 cost 38,000, whereas in 2020 it rose to 40,000, and in 2023 it rose again to 48,000, where it remains today. Then we have small stock versus large stock. So small stock is basically companies with a total market value of 200 million to or 300 million to 2 billion. And a common misconception about this is that these companies are usually like small businesses when in fact they're just established businesses that may not be worth as much as our bigger stock companies. And this value can be found by how much you buy the stocks for, so like outstanding shares, like how many stocks there are and how much you buy them for. And examples of this are ThredUp, which is a clothing company, and Kohl's. And our large stock companies are companies with a market capitalization of over 10 billion. And this is basically every large company that you would think of. And this offers you financial stability, but it doesn't really offer fast growth. And if you would invest in a company like Meta, which is Facebook, Apple, or Amazon. Next, we have our governmental investments. So our treasury bills are short term, and you can get them as loans from the government for between 4 and 52 weeks. And so they're sold in like hundreds, and you can buy up to 10 million, and you buy it at a discounted rate, and then you receive the full amount at like maturity. So say you buy for 52 weeks, you get it back at 52 weeks. And the difference is your return. And and then we have government bonds. And this is debt security, which is offered by your governments, whether that be national, federal, or state. And the government can tax you to repay these debts if they want, but they promise to pay like the investor back. And then for market downturn, this is like a period of time when stock prices are generally decreasing. Sorry. Okay. Then we're going to go through market growth and analysis, and just like two more definitions, which will be relevant in this section. So our short-term market downturns are basically when the stock market experiences like regular dips. So the stock market isn't going to constantly go up, it's goes. And our long term, it's like despite in the short term it might be going down, but overall in the long term it is still going up. And this can be seen in the SP 500, where today it might be red because there's a dip going on. But in the past 5 days, it's going up with some dips. And in the past 6 months, it's also going up, but the dips are noticeably smaller. And in the past 5 years, there are still definitely dips. Like in 2020, there was a big dip, but overall it's still green because you're still growing. And this is just a comparison of everything we've gone through so far. So the dark blue is our small stocks. And you can see, as I mentioned before, big stocks, you don't get as much of growth. So you would get more if you invested in a small stock. You would, which is like 64,000. And this is just measuring like long-term growth, no matter, so you're still growing no matter if you invested in a small stock or a big stock. And in these like small dents, they might look small, but they're actually big drops, such as in 2008 there was a 40% drop, and in 2020 there was a 30% drop. And this really shows the importance of downturn protection, which I'll go through in the following slides. So basically, as like Wenbo already went through, this is like the benefits of investing early and keeping those investments and not like withdrawing whenever there's an issue. So the blue is Jack, and he invested when he was 25. And this is growing like at an exponential rate. So by the time that he's 65, he's his money has grown to like over like 5 times the amount that he started with and that he inputted. And Jill, she started 10 years later when she was 35. And yes, she didn't contribute as much, but she also didn't get nearly as much as Jack did. And that also goes for Joey. He started 20 years later and he contributed half of what Jack did, but if this were to be like, oh, if Jack contributed, or like say Jack, like if you're using like the amount that Jack invested, which is 96,000, and he got 500, then Joey should be sitting at 250 for if he contributed exactly half. But because he didn't contribute for the same amount of time and as long, he only gets like a smaller amount. And this is just like showing how like people really don't see how much they're getting because the average investor only sees 2.9% of like the returns, while in reality, the SP 500 is getting 7%. And like other things, they're getting more, but you don't really see that, but it's happening. Next are how people are reacting to this. So when the stock market dips in like short-term trends, people get scared and they see that they're losing money and they decide that they don't want to take that risk anymore. So they pull out their stocks to protect themselves and their money. However, they disregard the long-term like trends. Like how despite the current dips that we're getting, the stocks might still be increasing in the long term. So people, when the stocks are going down, people feel uncertain, and when they're going up, they feel confident and they want to invest more. So this leads to more investing when the market goes up and less investing when it goes down. This also leads to more spending when it goes up because you have more money, and less spending when it goes down because you like feel like you're losing a lot of money. So this leads to the next point of downturn protection. And this is basically how if the market drops, no matter how much it drops, you still won't lose any money. So there will be like examples later in the next slide. So if the market drops like 10%, you're not going to lose 10% of your money. You will just not get anything that year. And then if the market's doing really well, like they're gaining 20%, you might only see 8% of that. So it's like insurance against your losses. So here we have like a chart. So here's account A, and account A, so every account is starting with $20,000. And account A is like steadily growing and it's getting 3% every year, no matter what. And they still get 27,000 at the end of the 10-year span. However, for account B, they win with the company and they lose with the company. So when the company loses like a lot of money, their stocks like depreciate by a lot. Like when the company loses 30%, this account ends up losing, oh, like they end up under the amount that they started with, which was $20,000. And then for account C, this is the downturn protection. So in the years where they're getting 9%, that's when the company is doing well. So the company could be getting, like, their stocks could be increasing by 9%, or they could be increasing by more, but this person who owns account C won't know that because 9% is the most that they'll ever get. And when it's 0%, this person also won't know that because 0% is like the minimum. They won't know if the company's like lost maybe 80% or if they've lost 10%. So they're still getting money and it's just like stable. So if something happens, it's their insurance against losing all their money. So here's my conclusion, just like a roundup of everything that we've gone through so far. So basically, inflation is your prices going up, like your car's going from 30,000 to 38,000. Downturn protection, which is the price of everything. Oh wait, that's not right. Downturn protection, which is like it's like protecting you against something happening. The market downturn is Okay, the market downturn is the price of everything falling across the market, and financial growth is the time that it takes to grow, which means that if you invest in a stock and you invest early, then you have to wait, you have to take the time for it to grow. And if you pull out too early, you're risking losing out on a lot of money that you could have gotten. Okay, and that's it.
Okay, let's go back to Cassie to close out.
Okay, thank you for everyone for coming to our first informational seminar. We really appreciate you guys having the time to join us, and thank you so much for listening in. So before we wrap up, can our presenters chronologically go over like what they learned through the process and what they have gained? So we can start with Wimble and then Cynthia and then Chloe. And then after that we can answer a few questions and then uh, uh, wait, I'll go over how to join and then that kind of stuff. So Wimble, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, generally speaking, during this learning period, I feel like I age and I saw the potential incredible value of the money we have right now. And also I will start to make a plan for myself to like save some of them for investment in future, kind of that. And I will introduce this knowledge to more guys around me and to kind of inspire them about this concept. And that's my learning from this period.
So for me, I learned like I think similarly, like the importance of investing and like just over time like growth and potential of money, and also like um diving deeply into these financial and economic concepts and just trying to explain it to other people just help me also learn it more myself as well, better absorb it.
For me, like I had never heard of some of these terms, like small stocks and large stocks and like market downturns. So I feel like because like next year I'll be like an adult and these like concepts are going to be important because I'm gonna need to invest for my future and for my kids.
Okay, so oh yeah. Oh,
Okay, Cassie, what did you learn?
oh, what did I learn? Sorry about that. So I learned that I feel like what they all previously said, like involving myself in teaching about this topic and like get a better understanding of this field. And at the same time, I feel like um it really helped with like develop my collaboration, like teamwork skills because like working in like such a good big group, like when you have to like incorporate everyone's like time schedule because we are all like in different places. I feel like that is also really challenging and that also really helped me a lot with like organizing in my own school clubs and activities. Um, yeah. Okay. So now moving on to how to everyone can get involved in this organization itself. So you can one join a department. We as said we have marketing, HR, finance, event planning, being a presenter for informational sessions, being an editor for web pages and promotional flyers, and a lot of other stuff, etc. You can contact us about regarding this if you're interested. And you can also participate in upcoming workshops and listen in guest speaker sessions or just like upcoming workshops like these ones. You could volunteer to gain service hours and gain leadership experience like by joining a department. And stay tuned for upcoming events and watch out for future flyers and our website and socials to get updated about all of these information. And so before we have oh, before we end it off, do we have any questions about any of like the presenting stuff or like the club itself for our speakers and yeah, no questions? You guys can just like unmute. I'll take that as a no. Miss Sun, do you have anything else to say?
Hey, Dora, do you have the link to the website?
Yes, so we have website that's partially still under development. So we have some information. So this program is very new. So we have a few parents that's helping, and we have a few students that's working on. I can provide the website, but it's still under development. So let you know.
Yeah, we also need a volunteer for website development. Who's interested can reach out to Dora.
Yeah, please reach out to me.
So we're gonna have another seminar next month. Jiao Zhang, who is also SMD, Senior Marketing Director, she will be leading the preparation for the next seminar. So the presenters today did really well. Actually, it's exceeded a lot, exceeded my expectation a lot. So I'm so impressed, so proud of you guys. So if you want to continue to present for the next seminar, you also can, participate. So I guess we're gonna close out for this seminar. We're gonna have another one. Watch out for the flyer and the announcement for the next one. Thank you everyone for joining. We're gonna have another great one next month. Okay.
Yeah, I will I will provide we have an email, just in case if you have any question. So you can send an email to this support team. So we have a support team for this organization. Just give me 1 second. I'm posting the email over here. Just a second. Yeah, that's the email. It's very simple. Just customer support at financialeducation365.org. So it is also listed on the website. It's under construction, but we have a support email already there.
Yeah, so if you have any friends or your classmates or your siblings interested in participating, let them know, right? Let us know. So they can all, we can all, develop our financial, knowledge and also sharing the information, and do a really good work. Yeah, we want to benefit more people and more kids, right? And also as, financial professional myself, also, learn from you guys, right? We'll all learn together. Okay. Okay, have a good night. Bye, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.